The Russian grandmaster and former world chess champion catapulted to fame in the 1990s when he played a series of games against IBM's supercomputer Deep Blue. He won the first few, but after an upgrade, the computer finally beat him. It's considered a seminal moment in the history of artificial intelligence.
Kasparov, after the move c4, has resigned.
Since retiring from chess, Kasparov has become more and more active in politics and writing, and he's one of Russia's most vocal anti-Putin voices.
Tell your leaders that this regime is criminal, is a police state.
The law is no longer functioning in Russia.
He's currently the chair of the Human Rights Foundation and has lived in New York for the past 9 years for fear of retribution from the Kremlin. Garry Kasparov, is it any surprise to you that Vladimir Putin took this move against Ukraine?
Absolutely not. For many years, Putin has been telling us that Ukraine was not a real state. He was not hiding his designs for the future of Ukraine and the so-called near abroad, former Soviet republics. This is the man who many years ago, in the beginning of his reign in Russia, said that the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the 20th century.
Based on Putin's past behaviour, what, if anything, do you think could motivate him to withdraw?
Nothing. These dictators never stop until they stopped. And dictators never ask why. They always ask why not. Vladimir Putin has a record, as you said, and this record includes carpet bombing cities in Chechnya more than 20 years ago, carpet bombing Aleppo and other rebel strongholds in Syria in 2013. And it's an endless list of crimes both inside and outside of Russia. And he saw no consequences. So right now, we already probably passed all the stations where we could stop Putin without paying a very steep price. And I've been saying for many years that the price to stop the dictator always goes up if we show weakness and indecisiveness and try to appease him. And 6 months ago, even the small portion of the sanctions that have been imposed today could have stopped Putin, at least made them think, and possibly saved tens of thousands of innocent lives in Ukraine. And I always also warn that sanctions never stop tanks.
You say that sanctions don't stop tanks. Do you think that there needs to be a full-scale military campaign mounted in Ukraine by the West?
I think the NATO has no choice but to mobilize, because I have very little doubt that if Putin succeeds in Ukraine, or he thinks he's succeeding in Ukraine, or even he thinks that he's not reaching his full objectives, he may decide to extend the operation to a NATO territory, because he is looking for this kind of conflict, and he always wants to demonstrate his resolve to challenge America and NATO. He's not a chess player, he's a poker player. And unfortunately, over 20 years, he used to win every game because he bluffed. He had a weak hand. But in poker, even a weak hand can win if you raise the stakes. An opponent keeps folding the cards. But the problem is, in this madness, they can easily cross every red line, because the crazy dictator could decide that it's time to actually demonstrate his resolve to challenge America beyond Ukraine.
Is Putin the kind of person who'll care that he's internationally isolated, that the world is fairly united in condemnation of this move?
I don't think he cares. Look, 22 years in power. It's a long time. I think that even the person with the greatest intellect and noblest intentions could be badly influenced. 22 years. And Putin was not this kind of a man. So his education was earned in the streets of Leningrad and in KGB school. And from what we know, that is in the last few years, he was increasingly isolated, and it was, of course, his choice, by shrinking inner circle. It's tragic that all these warnings were not heeded by the free world. People thought, oh, it may be for domestic consumption, maybe it's exaggeration. It reminds me of response of the world to Mein Kampf in 1925. Oh, it's a local populist leader, but no, he would never do that. The least of what Putin would have never done it's too long. And I think now we have to prepare for the worst before it comes.
Garry Kasparov, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Hi, I'm Leigh Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.